Hi everyone, Franco from Your Guitar Academy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play the solo of Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis. So pick up your guitar, let's get started. Right, so the song is in the key of C major / A minor. I do think of it as a major song, so C major. And we're going to need a few scales, a few shapes actually, the pentatonic scale shapes. Now the first one we need is shape number 1. So shape number 1 of C major would start from the note A with the index finger on fret number 5. And it goes 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. First thing we hear on that solo is 3 bends. So let's look at these 3 bends. I've got my ring finger on fret number 7 on the G string and fingers 1 and 2 on the same string just to help with the strength I need to pull that string up. And we're going to do 3 full tone bends up. So that note is going to sound like this one. We've got a great course on bends. A challenge course if you want. Now, let's give it a try. So I'm going to push that string up to a tone and back 3 times. Right, so that's the pretty epic start of that solo. After that, we're still on shape number 1 of the pentatonic scale. I go back to fret number 5 on the G string and back to fret number 5, a string above on the D string. So we've got right, that's the first part. Moving on to the second part of that solo, we've got something that goes. So I'm going to start with my index finger still on fret number 5 on the D string, and I'm going to hammer on to fret number 7. And then my index finger is going to move down a string to the G string on fret number 5. And I'm going to do that twice. Right, so that's the beginning of that second part. So far we've got and then the hammer-ons. And notice my index finger now on the G string. I'm going to add the 3 fingers back because we're going to have a bend again right after that part. And the bend is still on fret number 7. Now, when I'm pushing that string up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pinky to play fret number 8 on the high E string. So we get. So that whole second section goes. And right after these 2 harmonies we're hearing, this harmony we're hearing, these 2 notes, I'm going to have fret number 5 with my index finger on the G string, back to fret 7 on the D string, back to 5, notice I kept my index finger there on the G string, little bit of vibrato on this one if we can, and then fret 7 on the same string on the G string. So the second lick goes. Right, let's put the first 2 licks together. So we've got the first one and the second one. Oh, I missed that. Right, let's move on to the next lick. So lick number 3 is exactly the same as the first one we've learned. It's the same bends with the same tone up. So it still goes. Which is why it's such a good solo, is because we've got a lot of repetitions. So if we put the first 3 licks together, we've got. And again. Right, moving on to lick number 4. Lick number 4 goes like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 2 strings at once. I'm still using a pick, I'm still strumming, but I'm basically plucking 2 strings by strumming a little bit harder and you know, it's like the pick is not digging too hard either, just so it can still touch 2 strings at once. So we get that sound there. So that's called a double stop. And we start with fret number 5 and 5 on the D and G strings together. Right after that, I'm going to hammer on fret number 7 with the ring finger on the D string. So we get this. Right after I've played that, I go back to 5 and 5 and I plug these 2 strings. So we've got. Again. Now I'm going to move that sort of hand position we've got upper string. So now I'm on the A and D strings. I'm going to do the same thing. hammer on. So I start with 5 and 5, but then I'm going to hammer on fret number 7 with the ring finger still, but now on the A string. And after that hammer on, instead of playing the 2 strings again, I'm just going to focus on the D string. So let's put everything together. One more time. Right, so you see that last note is, it's quite special. We want to get it right and not get the double stop again. So we don't want, because otherwise we would hear the A string too much. So we want to focus on. So again, the lick all together. And right after that, we go back to fret 7 that we've just hammered on the A string. And we're going to pull off to 5 and then slide up to 3. So the whole lick goes. One more time. Okay, let's put everything together. So we've got 4 licks so far. The first one goes. Second one. Third, same as the first. And the new one. Right, after that, we've got a pretty long one, and it goes like this. So we're starting quite far up there on fret number 5 and 3, and we're finishing all the way up to 8 and 10. So we're traveling over a few shapes. We start on basically what would be shape number 5 of the pentatonic scale. So ring finger on, fret number 5 on A there, then index on the A string fret number 3, ring finger on 5, and then I'm sliding up to 7, which brings me back to shape number 1. Then I go up the scale. I stop on that C, which is fret number 5 on the G string. Add a bit of vibrato to it, just to add some color. And I'm going to play that note again, and then bend fret 7 on the same string, and back to 5. So we've got. So I just pulled off. I realized that if I'm playing it quickly, I think I would pull off onto this one. You could pluck it again. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, up to you. I think I would pull it off. Completely up to you. So let's put that together again. After we go back to that fret number 5, we're going to jump to fret number 7, this time on the D string, and back to 5 on the G string, then 7 on the G string, but this 7 I'm going to play with the middle finger, because I'm going to slide up to 9. So far we've got. Sliding up to fret number 9 here. Right, one more time. Once we're here, so the reason why I use my middle finger there is because we're on shape number 2 of the pentatonic scale. So now I've got access to that little box at the bottom of shape number 2, on the higher part of shape number 2. And I'm gonna go 8 on the B string twice, fret number 10 on the B string, fret number 8, so still playing in that little box on the high E string, one more time, and then I'm gonna play it, hammer on to 10 and pull off back to 8. So everything together from the slide on. One more time, so slide, 8, 8, 10, 8, 8, hammer on, pull off. Let's put that whole lick together, it's a long one. Right. From here on, you've pretty much played the hardest part of the solo. Everything else is a lot of repetitions. It's just bringing the intensity up. But let's put these two big parts together. So we've got the start, which goes. The double stops. And then. Cool. Okay, let's move on. Next one goes like this. So what I'm doing is I've got my index finger now flat on fret number 8 on the B and high E strings. So I've got these two notes. But I'm going to hammer on fret number 10 on the B string. So it goes B string on fret 8, hammer on to 10, and then high E string on fret 8. So we've got and we just repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And that's the bit where the intensity of the solo just climbs up. Let's put everything together quickly. So from the top. Double stops. The long one. And then from here on, we've got. So it sounds pretty much the same as the one we've just seen, except we start with 8 on the high E string, hammer on to 10, and back with a pull off to fret number 8 on the same string. And then we would go back to the regular. So we've got that next lick that goes. Let's put these two together just so you can hear the difference. So the first one went. And the next one. Now it's worth noting that from this point on in the solo, you actually hear two guitars, probably two different tracks that are sort of merging together. It sounds great, but it's really hard to tell what's going on. So this is my take on it. I think it sounds cool. That's the way I would play it. But if you hear something different, fair enough, just play something different. Moving on to the next part of the solo, we've got the super awesome and powerful unison bend. So I'm moving down to fret number 12 with my index finger on the high E string. And then I'm going to have my ring finger on fret number 15 on the B string. I'm going to play these two strings together, just like a double stop, but now I'm going to bend the B string with my ring finger and my middle fingers helping on the same string. So we've got. What you want is basically that note played on the B string to sound almost the same as the one you're playing with your index finger. Again, if this is the concept of unison bends and everything is very new to you, we've got a course on that, a Noel Gallagher course. I definitely recommend it. So let's put everything together from the bit where we were on the higher part of shape number 2. So it went like this. And the jump. And I'm playing this 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last one though, I'm going to keep the bend up and take my time when I'm going back. You see, I'm sort of dragging it a little bit. So if I play the whole thing. As I'm going back to the original position, so my ring finger is still on 15, now I'm going to reach fret number 13 with my index finger. Back to the middle finger on fret number 14 on the G string, and index finger again on fret 13 on the B string. Out of tune, I'm just going to tune my guitar quickly. And we're back. Yeah, the guitar didn't really like the big bends on that fret 12 and 15. Right, so we had these double stops. And then again, we released the last one, play 13 on the same string, 14 on the string above on the G string, back to 13 on the B string, sorry. And then we're going to bend 15 again. As I'm bending it, I'm going to reach fret 17 with the pinky on the high E string. And then I'm still bending it. I'm going to play that string again and bring it back to its original position. So that's a tricky one. It goes. Now that I'm back, I'm going to play fret number 12 on the high E string, back to 15, back to 12. And you've done pretty much the whole solo. Right, so let's put these two licks together. So we had the double stops, and then And once you're here, you've got one lick left. And what we do is sort of a double stop, the same one we've played before, so 12 and 15 on the high E and B strings, except I'm not playing the two strings together. I'm sort of bending 15, but I'm going back and forth between these two strings. And I finish with a big one. That's the bit where you want the intensity of the solo to just reach the tipping point. Right, so let me put everything together super slowly. I hope that was making sense. If it doesn't, take it bit per bit, right? Lick after lick slowly. So starting from the top. Double stops. The long one. The 8s and 10s. That with, a little bit of overdrive and a lot of reverb, that's going to sound great. So keep on playing it. Try to map the shapes like I've mentioned as you're practicing it, and I'm sure you're going to get there. Again, take it bit per bit, right? Take your time with it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.